Hey guys, welcome back to a new series that I'm going to be starting up of a game called Banished. Banished is basically just a civilization game. It's a little bit old as you can see, but I've been playing it a lot recently and I've been having a lot of fun. So let's just start a new game. We're going to, let's go ahead and we will name it Dewey's Civ. Dewey Civ. There we go. Short for civilization because I don't feel like typing the whole thing out. Terrain set. Let's go valleys, which is the easier one. Large for the most space. We'll go fair. Disaster is on. And let's go with hard mode. And without any further explanation, let's get right into it. And so, premise of this game is you start with different amounts of families. We picked hard mode, so I think we have 4 families and a traveling cart with resources. Let's just wait for it to spawn in so I can show you guys what we all got to go with. And the world spawned in. Let's pause the time. And so as you can see, here's our villagers right here with the traveling cart full of some basic beginner resources. And then this is the whole map. A whole lot of area to build with. Quite a good chunk of flat open land, which is nice to see. Now, so there's a whole bunch of tabs. Obviously the house tab has different homes, and then the boarding house. Roadways, which include bridges and tunnels to go through mountains. Storage, which has storage sheds. Stockpiles for trees, stone, and iron. Marketplaces and trading posts we'll get into later. Town services, a whole bunch of other stuff that we need to get better around throughout. Eventually we'll have diseases, so we'll need the hospital. Schoolhouses makes these guys go to school. Better education makes them work better. And then chapel boosts morality, and town hall gives us more accurate just production numbers and whatnot, so we can see just how on par we are. Then there's the different food sources. These are critical. So on hard mode, you'll notice if I go like this, we don't spawn with any seed types. So we are going to have to get to build the trade post as early as possible. But then there's orchard, pastures, fishing dock, which will be one of our primary sources of food for the first little bit. Excuse me. Hunting cabin, and then the gatherer's hut. Then there's the resource production. So woodcutter makes firewood. The forest lodger will dedicate an area to harvesting forests. Herbalist I don't usually get into, but used for simple healing. Blacksmith for tools. Tailor for clothing. Tavern. Everybody loves a good tavern, which once we finally get some orchard seeds, we can start making some alcohol. A mine, which can only be placed on the side of a mountain like that. Thing is, with mines and then quarries as you see go right there, once you have built a quarry or a mine, they cannot be deconstructed. So like, let's say if I were to put a quarry right here and have them build it, this entire square box that it's outlined would never be able to be used for anything else. And then this one's just simple removal tool. But first things first. So let me go ahead to here and I'm going to get the different tabs. So here's general. This just kind of tells us our basic storage, productions, families, needs will be up here. And then let's get log events. So this will tell me when certain things happen, including deaths, which I have toggled on now. And then assignments, So this is where I can assign all of the adults different roles of what I want them to do. And so then up here it shows adults, students, and children. So until we build our first schoolhouse, they will go straight from children to adults. So in the meantime, let's go ahead, get started. Let us get a fishing dock right underway. No time to mess about. And let's build. Simple roadway. And we'll have that be the center of town. And so I usually like to try and plan out my towns at least a little bit. So let's get a storage barn here. Decent sized stockpile going right there. And then as you saw when I went and placed the storage barn, it shows the two entrances, and those can only be lined up to pathways. It cannot interfere with other buildings. But so let's get that, and then let's go ahead and get our first little town houses built. So let's go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we will go like that. Hold on, let me get that place properly. Cool. Now, I do want the plan to have a market eventually. And so, let's just space that out. It should line up with the outside of that home. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is just cancel that and cancel those, and then what I can do is just boom. Oh, messed that up a little bit. Hold on. Boom. And then if I just go straight out, line it up perfectly. I do like things symmetrical in my playthrough. And then houses are 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5. That can go like that. Awesome. And so now you see we have 12 build jobs. Oh, I need a 4th house, don't I? Yes, I do. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to need them to clear out all these resources so that they can actually build their homes. And so let's go ahead, start 4. Let's do 4 and 4. 4 people building, 4 people just laborers, which laborers will clearing areas and moving goods to storage. And then let's also dedicate them to clear all of that. And so early on, the most basic way to get resources is just clearing out your surrounding areas, and eventually we'll get into foresting lodges and all that jazz. But first things first, we need them to prioritize getting this up, otherwise we will not have food. And then let's just speed things up a little bit. And as you can see, they're all going to get to work. And then they should start chopping down all of the different resources and bringing them back over where they are needed. See? And so they already started bringing some resources back, and they should be prioritizing the fishing hut, which is perfect. That is what I want. Alright, and so a lot of this is going to be me just kind of planning things out, letting them run as quick as possible, and then moving along as fast as we can. I'm actually gonna pause because this is probably really loud. Let me go ahead and turn that down a little bit. Nope, still really loud. Let's try that. Yeah, it's not as bad anymore. There we go. So you can shouldn't be as insanely loud anymore, but and then what I'll probably do is have the first forester hut be put just over here. And you want to kind of space it out so that they have the most amount of space possible as to maximize utility and production, but obviously first things first, we want them to get this done and running. But yes, let's actually just get them to clear out even a bit more, and then we definitely want them to get all of this stone and all of these trees. And then once that is built, what I'm going to do is immediately drop this by 1 and put 4 people into fishing. Well, 3 builders for now. But we really want to prioritize them getting food built, and I just always set that insanely high because food is not something you can ever have too much of. So and they already got that house being built, good, and they've got the warehouse being built. Awesome. And so once this is built, any food that they produce here will be put into the storage, at least anything that is surplus. And so, yes, let's do that. And then let's also just get over here, as I said. Actually, you know what? I think over here is going to be better use of building. And what I'm going to do is also just go ahead and let's just build a road right over. And then what I want to do is build a house so that people who work in that building can live in it. The AI will automatically try and place people in a profession closer to the home as to save time on traveling. And then we're going to want to build a woodcutter's hut as well. So, a lot of construction jobs to be had, that's fine. And then what I also want to do is clear out anything that's not trees from the area around my hut. So let's go ahead and do that as well. And then let's, yeah, okay, so we should have people doing that too. Awesome. And so right now it is summertime, so we should be okay as long as that they can get all this up and running as soon as possible. Obviously we want them to have homes, otherwise they will get cold and die, and that is not a preferable outcome. But as I said, this is one of my more favorite games. Very easy to just pass the time, so I do enjoy it in that regard. And so this should hopefully provide enough food for the time being. Once this gets up and running, we're also going to want to make a gatherer's hut. Put it right there. Because gatherers will gather all the berries and mushrooms and stuff that spawn in the forest while they are building. And so, okay. I know we are running low on resources. Let's just do that. We need food of utmost importance. Let's just gather some of these trees as well. Alright, people. Work your magic. I want them to prioritize this. Cool. So now that I've prioritized that, more people should be going over that way to start working. Perfect. And then eventually when we get the town hall, we'll be able to see just exactly how many families we have inside of our town, and so we're able to build enough houses to accommodate it. But in the meantime, we'll just try and roughly eyeball it. And let's go ahead and get one person starting to cut some firewood. Set that to 300. And we'll get this going as quick as possible. But yeah, if you guys do enjoy this series, as I said, it's one of my more favorites, and so if you'd like to see more, just, I don't know, like the video, come back, watch it, or don't. Again, I just do this for fun, and I love this game, and I just want it to show it to you guys. But in the meantime, as I said, this game is a lot of waiting, adjusting, expanding, and it's just a repetitive process, but I do enjoy it a lot. But the beginning on hard mode obviously is not super easy, so we'll do our best to not fall behind. I am aware the reserves of logs are low, which is why they are building this over here as we speak. Yeah, so every so often it'll pop up here and it'll tell me what it is, but also it'll notify me here when we're running low on any of the major resources. And so this should be getting built. Perfect. Once that is built, I will drop it from 4 to 1, or to 3, sorry. We should have, yeah. And so as you can see, we're losing a little bit of time because they have to walk from their homes back out to here to work, and so once we build this hut, it should be a little bit quicker. We just have to keep an eye on who's all in these homes. Let's put that to 3, drop that to 2. Let's do 2. So we got 3 people working on collecting wood, and so they will start planting new trees while also cutting down mature ones. Yes. And then once the house is built, the people who are in that profession will move into closest to it, just because it works the best. And then, let's see, so we got 1, 2, and then, okay, so we can do that. So let's go ahead and build a second house here. Just because we can afford it. And so early on, I'm going to be heavily focusing on just trying to make sure that the people live. The first little bit is always the hardest, especially since we're going to very quickly run out of tools and whatnot. Ugh, excuse me. But And food is also going to be a little bit more difficult because we don't have access to farms. Farms will greatly increase how much production we can create in terms of food, but that is okay. And so they're just gonna walk around, work, and keep focusing on the tasks that I have given them. And then on all of the different job sites, I can see how much they're producing in the current season and then also the previous season. So for instance, this one, they only made 83 firewood because we are out of wood. But thankfully, nowhere is dying from cold, so that's good, especially since we're almost out of winter. And I usually keep it running around 5 to 2 times speed. I don't like speed running too quick because if something happens, it can drastically affect it, but it also keeps it at a pretty decent speed, so we're not just kind of standing around here watching nothing happen. But yes, so they're already harvesting stuff, awesome. And then our second source of food should be getting built, which is also great. More laborers, good. And so right away I'm going to put 2 more people into the gatherer's hut just so that we have a more steady income of food, because obviously as more people are being born and more houses are being built, the demand for food production is just going to slowly keep rising. But in the meantime, I think I already have all those marked for harvest, yes, and so now are those. Perfect. And then let's just put 2 people in there. Okay. Awesome. So, general way to do it is just divide however many adults you have by 2, and that should be roughly how many houses you need. So we're on to the 6th house as we speak. We do have a good backlog of iron already, which is nice because we're probably already almost out of tools. And so one of the first things we will be building will be the blacksmiths, which we might be able to just put right around here. We'll see. Logs are running low. Yes, I know. Let's actually put 3 of you in there and drop you down to 1, because we're likely just waiting on resources. But and then as you can see, they're already collecting food as well, which is awesome. And fishing is all season, as is gathering hut, I believe, are all season, or they might just be spring to fall. During winter, I know for a fact that crop fields, orchards do not collect any resources, but hunting cabins and fisheries are year round. That I do know. Outside of that, not 100% sure. I do kind of like learning games like this as I go. I have been playing it quite a bit recently and also in the past, but for the most part it's kind of just me trial and erroring my way through it. But also, if there are any other games that are similar to this or that you'd like to maybe see me try out, just drop them down in the comments. I'm always looking for a new game to try out. But yeah, I'll likely be doing these in 30-minute increments, something like that, and then stop the game and move on to the next episode. Probably be able to pump these out pretty quick. I'm not going to be editing them too much, mostly just going to be raw footage of me playing through the game. But yeah. Somebody died of hunger. That's not good. We're already starving. And somebody else died from hunger. Great. You should be gathering lots of food. No one should be starving. So a kid died and then 2 adults died. That is no me gusta. Someone please bring food to that house. I do not want more people dying. Early on, that is very detrimental, but we can probably move that. Yep. Why is there just fish out in the open? What is wrong with you people? Okay. Well, it doesn't say that they're hungry anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and hope that food is getting a little bit more steady. What are they waiting for? Well, let's also just go ahead and create a hunting cabin right there. But yeah, so early on, we're just going to want to do our best to keep up with food production. As I said, it is really hard until we can build our first trading post and start getting some seeds, which likely will be going right there. So that's good. But we are a ways away from there. First things first is just surviving the first few years, getting our population up and under control. Seems like I'll probably be able to follow the pattern of like maybe every 2 or 3 years. We'll see how time's looking after this year's over, but every 2 or 3 years will probably be a new episode, and then we'll go from there. But yes, okay. My builder doesn't have a tool, so he's going to work a lot slower. So that is something we are going to want to make sure we can get up and running for them as soon as the food situation is a little bit more under control. But yes, so forget how old they have to be before they become workers. It might be 10? Makes me, that 11-year-old builder makes me think that it'll be 10. So before we have a school, they become workers around 10 years old. We'll be able to tell when it says that one has grown up. And then once they do go through school, I think it's not till they are like 18 or 19. And so the offset is it takes them longer to become adults, but they do become more efficient at working. So it's a take your pick kind of thing. But yes, so as you can see, the builder and gatherer moved into here just because it's closer to their job site. Same thing with this forester and gatherer. But hopefully they should start working on this soon. Who are you? Gatherer. Okay, so gatherers must also not be able to work during the winter, which is why they are working on clearing out resources that I have marked. I will go ahead and cancel these removals just so that they focus more on all this area. Because, well, I want more dedicated area for tree gathering than anything else. And I do like the fact that even though it's small amounts, that our reserves for firewood and food are not zero. That is a good sign. Awesome. So they've become a laborer now, so they should start helping out here. Perfect. Awesome. Oh, we got another adult. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and actually put that to 2 builders because I want them to get that up and built as quick as possible. Only thing we're a little bit low on is the wood, but that's okay. They should be harvesting this stuff soon. Just gonna take them a bit because they don't have great tools. Which also means that this will be the next project they have. Yes, quite. But yeah. So I don't want these videos to be too long, and so once this ends, I will probably be cutting this video off. But yeah, just as sort of the very quick and basic introduction to this game, you know, kind of get the premise of it. Just build houses, build sites, produce food, and all the other resources we need just to start a surviving civilization. But we are into early spring of year 3, and so right there I will pause it to end this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed so far. Again, I'm not going to be editing these too much, so I should be able to post these semi-regularly. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing and liking the video, and I will see you guys in the next one very shortly. Goodbye!